Just want to jump in to come on just for a minute. That was something that I kind of wanted to talk about, to talk about and share. But listen, I hope everyone is having a good day so far where you are. I know some of you may be off work or still at work or wherever you are, maybe on vacation, but I hope all is well with you. Now, let's get into it. Now, what I'm going to talk about for just a moment, just for a little while, I'm going to try to be as brief as I can because if you can see the title, I'm about to get in some serious trouble. I'm about to get into some serious trouble, but I believe that this is something that a lot of people want to know too. If you can see the title to this message, why people in the congregation cannot ask the pastor any questions. Why people in the congregation. Hold on, let me put on my do not disturb. Hold on just a second. Okay. Why people in the congregation cannot ask the pastor any questions. I want to see if anybody gonna come on. If anybody that's on, just chime in, just let me know. I wanted to be able to jump in what I'm about to say because I don't want anybody to miss this opportunity. Anybody that's watching. So far, it look like I don't see anybody watching, but I know sometimes people be watching, but they just probably just didn't hit the live on their phones. Why? Why the people in the congregation can't ask the pastor any questions about nothing? I see one person in right now. How you doing? Is it Marzik Z? How are you? Tell me something. Why people in the congregation cannot ask the pastor, the bishop, the apostle? How come they can't ask these people no questions? I'm a pastor myself. Anybody that follows me, they know that I am a pastor. Anybody that's on here that can answer that question for me, because I'm going to go ahead and say what I say, and hopefully I can be short and sweet and to the point. I'm talking about get rid, because I know this right here is going to get me in trouble. But I just want to know, I got to say it again, why the people in the congregation cannot ask the pastor no questions. Because I grew up in churches where I couldn't ask the pastor. You ask the pastor a question about something if you want to. Some of them pastors will tell you from limb to limb. I've already heard before that you don't want to question leadership. Why? Why we can't ask the question? Why we can't ask the pastor any questions? Now, how could the people who serve at the church, they come every Sunday, sometimes they come to church Sundays, Wednesdays, Tuesdays, some of them be at church 3-4 times a week. They serve in that church. They pay their tithes and offerings, pastoral anniversaries, all types of conferences that the church has put on. The congregants are there. Anytime the church, the pastor has to go and preach at other churches, and half of the congregation is following them. They are the ones who are the ones that keep the church running. Because without the people, the church can't run. So how is it that the people that come every Sunday, every Wednesday, even some of them on the praise team, on the choir, in the choir, on the usher board, why can these people ask the pastor a question if it's something they don't understand, or they give their honest opinion about something they just don't like? Now, I prepared myself for this because I don't know if it's the time of day that I'm jumping on asking this question, but I do know that this is a question that a whole lot of people don't like, especially if they like control. I know some people would say, well, pastor, you a pastor, why would you get on here and say something like that? Because I got a problem with it too. Why the people in the congregation cannot ask the pastor any questions? And if it wasn't for the people, the church, the building itself could not be running. It can't run without the people. Unless the pastor is the one that's paying all the bills and he's paying the mortgage on the church and everything else. But other than that, why the people who come and serve in that church cannot ask the pastor a question? Now listen, now respectfully, if you're going to ask questions, be respectful about it. I do stand by that. Be very respectful when you ask these questions and watch how you come to your leadership. But I will say this, why they can't come to you at all. Because I know some people that came to pastors and they didn't come to them wrong and they got blasted. They got blasted. They came to the pastor respectfully and said and asked questions and said things that was on their heart. See, I know I wasn't expecting a lot of people on this because a lot of people don't want to hear it. My suggestion to anybody, and whoever going to watch this a little later, anybody who is a part of a church, whether it's a mega ministry or mid-sized ministry, small ministry, or whatever you are, listen to me good. Any church people that's on here, I'm not expecting any people who don't go to church. I don't expect you to be on here. This may not be your kind of talk. I'm talking to people who are in church. They are regular churchgoers. They are active members, participants on a regular basis in the church. If you are a part of a church and you cannot ask your leadership a question if you have a question, or if it's something that you have a problem with and you just need to talk to your pastor about it and he disrespects you or she disrespects you, whoever that is the set person in that house, and they don't give you an opportunity to ask questions, to express how you feel, and you are a servant in that church, and they won't give you the opportunity to ask them no questions, you need to leave today. I already knew it was gonna be hard to nobody on here because nobody want to hear this one. If you are part of a church and you can't ask your pastor not one question, whether he's right or wrong, you need to leave that church today. How dare any leader that is in the church? These people are coming to serve. They believe that they were sent to the ministry where you preach, that where you the pastor at, that you are the head shepherd of that church. And then some of these people have issues with something. And like I said, respectfully, people in the congregation got to be respectful too. You just can't come off at the man and woman of God any kind of way by just coming and addressing them in a reckless manner. That's not what I'm saying. Because I've known some people who came to leaders in the church and have respectfully came to them, and they got chewed out and they got told, you can't question the pastor about anything. Who said it? And tell me what book of the Bible that I can find that in. I'm going to keep on talking. Tell me what book in the Bible that tells me that it is wrong for people in the congregation that has a question, cannot ask questions. If you are a part of a ministry where the pastor is, and that pastor will turn you away or get mad at you, be super angry with you because you decided to ask a question, leave that church today. Now, what I want you to do is, those who will be watching this later, because there is no reason for you not to be in a church where you can't ask the pastor any questions. That's wrong. That is not right. I'm a pastor, and I'm telling you it's wrong. I want you to comment, leave some comments. I'm about to get on out your way. And I might jump back on and ask this same question. If you are a part of a church and you cannot ask your pastor any questions, and your pastor will get mad at you because you decide that you wanted to ask them a question about something, you're not being mean, you're not being ugly, and your pastor dog you out for asking questions, you need to get away from that church. You don't need to go to under no leadership where you cannot ask any questions. The people in the congregation should know where the money is going. The people in the church should know where the money is going. They should know what's the future hold for the ministry. What direction the church going. They should know that. And you get mad at them for coming at you, asking you that? That is not the church you're supposed to be a part. Now look, I'm going to get on out of here. I'm going to get on out of here because I know that this is something that a lot of people don't want to hear, especially other pastors. I'm one, and I have a problem with other pastors that don't give their congregation, the people in the congregation, a voice to express themselves and ask a question if they need to ask a question. I have a problem with that, and I am a pastor. These people that come and serve, they should be able to come and ask anything that they need to ask, as long as it's respectful. They should be able to ask for whatever they need to ask that pastor, and you standing up over them preaching at these people every Sunday, and these people can't come and question you and ask you no questions. And the congregants, y'all, whoever this is that if you're in a church like that where you can't go to your pastor and ask him no question, then it ain't the pastor's fault, it's yours. Now I'm going to get on out of your way. Why can't the people in the congregation ask the pastor questions? I'm going to get back on a little later and ask the same question, because I want some more viewers to see this. I want more viewers. I want some more viewers. I want somebody to help me with that. I'm going to go and get on out of your way. But that's my question. That's my question. Why can't people in the congregation ask the pastor questions? The people in the congregation should know where the money is going. They need to know the direction of where the church is going or the church is headed. They need to know that. So I'm going to get on out of your way. And I'm going to come back probably a little bit later on this evening. And I'm going to ask that same question. God bless.